my life. That means whenever there is a special occasion, I will fulfill my duty toward that friend. I will respect that friend. But for a friend to be so close in my own life, 24 hours a day, going and coming, you have to be very careful. You have to put a limit to everything. There's a time, there's a border for everything. So anyway, guys, I went to this high school, I studied, I got my education here from Australia, and you know what? There was a lot of problems, and I remember once, it wasn't my time, after school there was a huge fight with knives, and there was a couple of people actually being stabbed, and that's why they started putting security guards during working hours and after hours so that the students come and go safely. But I'm sure things have gotten worse and worse probably in your times, but probably a different color. All I'm saying, guys, freedom God gave to us not to destroy us, but to make us perfect. But how do we distinguish, or how do we make our lives good or bad? It is all dependent on how we listen, what we listen to, and how do we accept what we listen to. St. Paul says that faith comes through hearing. Faith comes through hearing. What you hear is what you're going to do in life later on. If you hear bad things, you will act badly in your life. If you hear good things and allow yourself and permit yourself to hear those good things and accept those good things, what's going to happen? You will start doing good things. What goes in here, gets planted in your heart, is what you're going to harvest later on. I had just visited a family before coming out here, and I'm not going to mention any names, and I'm very proud of them to be here this evening. And I was just saying that, and we read that in the book of Proverbs, which is one of the Old Testament books, for King Solomon, which is Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 3. And I'll finish off on this. King Solomon, being a wise man, have experienced a lot of things in life, says that there is a time for everything under the sun. And verse 3 says, there is a time to plant, and there is a time to harvest. Take what you have planted. Listen carefully, guys. When you come to plant something, you are absolutely free to what you want to choose to plant. You have the full choice of freedom of choice to what you want to plant. For example, you love oranges. You're going to say, I'm going to plant an orange seed. Nobody is going to be able to stop you from planting that orange seed. But guess what? When the time comes, there's a time for everything. Just like you plant, there will be a time coming for you to harvest what you planted. When you come to harvest, receive the fruits of what you planted, don't expect peaches or apples. You planted an orange tree, you're going to receive oranges. Nothing else. So when you plant, you have the choice. But when you harvest, you have no choice. You will harvest what you've planted. But when you first planted that seed, until you receive the oranges as fruits, it takes a long time. When we plant the wrong things in our lives, we are not going to receive the results right away. For example, you go and smack someone, and nobody smacks you back straight away. Nobody says nothing to you because they are all afraid of you. And you got away with it so easily. And you went and smacked them again. And you started showing off all that time. And nothing is happening to you then what's going to happen? You're going to say, this is fun. There is nothing wrong with that, and nothing is going to happen to me. I just did it so many times, and nothing has happened to me. Nothing will ever happen to me. Guess what? What you have planted needs time for the fruits to come so that someone else comes and plant it in you. Get it? There's time. You hurt someone, it will happen. Sooner or later, you will never escape this. Someone else will come along and hurt you. What goes around comes around. And what goes around comes around. You say a bad word, someone else along the way will come and make you hear a bad word. You told someone off, someone else will come and tell you off. And when you say something nice and respectful, someone else will come along and pay you accordingly. You have the freedom, my beloveds, to choose the right thing, and you have the freedom to choose the wrong things. But whatever you choose, you have no choice or freedom in what results you're going to get. You choose the light, you will receive the light. You choose darkness, you're going to get the darkness. And when you get it, don't whinge or complain, because that was your choice from the very beginning. This son chose not to live with daddy because he thought daddy was too harsh on him. What that choice got him to? Ending up with pigs. From a son of God to a slave to the devil. But when he repented and came back to his senses and says, I better go back to my daddy and say, I'm really sorry, Dad, forgive me. When he came back to his senses, Daddy, who is Jesus Christ, will hug us again and will give us a fatherly kiss, a holy kiss, and will say, you were my son, you are my son, and you will always be my son and my daughter. Come back to me. I was just teaching you a lesson, my son and my daughter, that don't ever think that when you are with Christ, you are being controlled, you are being chained. It's quite the contrary. You are free when you are with Jesus. You are living the absolute freedom to its absolute height when you are with the Lord Jesus. Because Jesus came to give us one thing and one thing only, and that is freedom. So don't ever think that you're going to find your freedom with your friends, out there in the street, out there in this world, and having fun. There is no freedom. Your freedom is when you are doing everything in life through Jesus Christ. Do it through Christ. You go out to a party, say, Lord, come with me. It's a birthday party. Yeah, I'm serious. Take the Lord Jesus with you, because you don't know what Jesus will do through you to touch other people's hearts. Put Jesus number one in your life, and He will put you number one in His book. Jesus says, you look after my interest, I look after your interest. It's my story. It's my story. I used to work in the bank. I was a branch manager. After 15 years, I left the bank. Things happened in my life I'm not going to talk about, but I left the bank and I was without work for 2 years. I never received a single penny from the government. I was without job, and I could not see myself going to Centrelink and say, give me that $100 or $200 a fortnight. For 2 years I was without work because I was devastated, I was broken-hearted, I was emotionally sick. What happened to me was very big. It was a big test for me. For 2 years, my bills, my debt started increasing. You know what? I had the last $2,000 in my bank account, and that was from my credit cards. The last $2,000, my payments every month was over $3,000. If I don't pay, the bank will take the house because there was a mortgage on it. $2,000, no job, it is absolutely shut. 2 years. And I said, Lord, that's it. That's the end. I'm giving up. What am I going to do?